Hey guys, Pete here, HVAC Greatness. How are you doing today? Sorry, looks like I'm going to continue my series on Sick Pete. So just deal with the coughs as best you can. I'll try my best to not to cough too much. But the last couple of recordings I did, we called it a Pete's Ride Along, and just kind of jumped around randomly. And unfortunately, I'm trying to stay busy, and I can't get in the front of the camera. I can't do a whole lot of editing, so I'm just doing a few of these for now. And hopefully you'll enjoy this one. I've been thinking about different topics and how we got to keep them congruent and in line and in harmony with the overall message here within HVAC Greatness. And of course, that's for you, the business owner or future business owner, if that's you. But for the most part, most of the people that are connecting with HVAC Greatness, they're business owners, and you're probably in that category. And it doesn't matter where you are in your growth, whether you are just a one-person operation, or you've got that first helper, or you've got that basic team in place, or maybe you have several teams. There are development plateaus that we keep hitting, and they're directly connected to us. And that's why we go a little woo-woo sometime, a little deep on some of this stuff. But let's bring it back to, let's reel this baby in a little bit, and let's talk about some more common things. Okay, so why HVAC Greatness? What's the point, right? You are out there building this business. You're building your business, and you focus on what you know you should be focusing on, right? And that is delivering what you do. And hopefully doing so in a way that when you compare it to other companies, your competition, your work is superior. So maybe when you braze your line set, you use nitrogen purge. And if you don't know what that is, shame on you. But that's okay. A lot of guys don't. But a nitrogen purge while you're brazing, so that you don't oxidize and build all that black stuff up inside the lines, only to get trapped in the filter and your metering device and whatever else along the way. Little steps like that really make for a clean job and really set you apart. Using a micron gauge and you pull in a vacuum. There's tons of examples. You guys know. So how do you communicate this level of professionalism to your customers in a way that they truly get it? Now, they profess they get it. They'll give you the lip service. Damn cough. They'll give you the lip service, and they'll tell you you're the best and you're the one for them, and they'll tell you what you want to hear. That's what they do. They're customers. They know where their bread is buttered. They know they got to keep you happy so that you're in the proper mindset to do them a good job and hopefully charge them a more favorable price. That's what they do. Okay, so don't allow that to interfere with the reality, because your perception is not reality. It's your perception. And neither is the perception of your customers. How many of your customers perceive, well, this equipment shouldn't be more than about $2,500 because I saw some ad in the newspaper or online, and you're charging double this. Just because they perceive something in their world doesn't make it true. Okay, so we all deal with that. So this is why when we're looking at your greatness, when we're looking at trying to put together an identity for your business. Oh gosh, where do we go with this at this point? Not just trying. Building your identity, you're going to build it regardless. And so, I said I wouldn't go woo-woo, but let's just go just a little bit. The human mind categorizes everything. Okay, so it'll analyze, compare. It'll compare to past experiences and understandings. Sort in categories and file and put you in a certain, to repeat the word, category. You are dropped into a category, and you're dropped into a category with those that you've been compared to and determined similar to or the same as. In other words, you're just a heating and air contractor. You're just another one. And you clearly want to be known for doing heating and air conditioning, but do you want to be categorized with everybody else? Do you want the customer to see you in the same category as all these other companies out there? Well, when you do that, or when they do that to you, you get pushback like, well, your competition quoted me the same exact equipment, and they're $1,000 cheaper than you are. Why should I go with you? And they're being sincere. They legitimately don't understand why, and this is their perception, you are higher in your price versus why is your competition so darn low? They see these ads that are ran, and they make assumptions. Okay, so when you're dropped into the category with everybody else, you're bound by the differentiator, and that is the price. I mean, you don't want to be in that situation. This is why building a brand is so important. This is why building a power identity is so key. You want to charge more? So what do? You resort to tactics to, you have to hide certain things and get creative and upgrade and upsell these other things. And don't get me wrong, there's having strategy is important, especially when you're dealing with people, because people they're not logical, they're emotional. They just aren't. We talked about this last time. How do we build an identity that separates us from the rest of the crowd? I dropped some information on a book out there. You like to read business books. Hopefully you do. It's called Blue Ocean Strategy. And it teaches a lot of different things, but one of the main points is when you are competing in that Red Sea, that Red Ocean, the waters are bloodied with shark-infested waters, and you're in there fighting over that same business, it gets pretty ugly. But if you can lift yourself out of that competitive environment and create your own blue ocean, no competition, create a perception of your company, your service, that allows you to be outside of that category, differentiated in a powerful and important way. Remember, this is all psychology. This is not that hard to do, although it's most people don't do it. Your competition, heating and air conditioning companies out there, they don't brand properly. They don't. Heating and air conditioning companies are the worst branded small businesses out there. I mean, it's sad, really. Lately, we've seen these companies come up and have taken advantage besides the obvious. I mean, they've been after your money forever. We're going to get you more leads. We're going to drive more work your way. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. With everything from SEO with your website to Google positioning and even Google itself, Google Guaranteed, Facebook ads, Instagram, whatever social media platform. They've been after your money, and they've been getting a lot of it because you feel like you need them. And you need advertising, especially when you're in customer acquisition, growth mode, your early stages. But as you get more mature and you have a following, you don't advertise nearly as much, if at all. I know a lot of business owners that they are so dialed in that if they get a phone call and a prospective customer asks how much they charge for a service call, they tell them they're booked and they send them to their competition because they don't want to deal with that. They've been through that. They've gone through the customer training. Now they have their customers, and the customers just pay. They pay for their service. They're not in that category anymore. They've removed themselves from that. They're not going to fight over that bone. They've created their blue ocean. Well, Pete, how in the world do you do that? Well, it's not just one aspect. Your company name and logo, for example. It's not the cool thing that you say at the kitchen table. It's not that, where I was headed next, that cool wrap that you got that's turning heads now. And that helps because that's essentially a major step forward in doing a proper branding and creating a power identity and a unique marketing position and giving you that differentiator by having this cool wrap. And there's some companies out there that are doing a pretty good job. And I say they're doing a good job. If you look at their websites, a lot of the work has these same elements to it. So it's from market to market to market. It's pretty much the same stuff. Which if it works, right? So what do we do? Well, we have to come to this recognition. Now, hear me on this. Listen to me. Listen to Pete on this one because this is key. If you continue to push with what you have, if you continue to bring the energy and the way of thinking into tomorrow's business that you gave it today, and the same as today as you did yesterday, and you continue to push forward with that same mindset, this is called consistency, and you're consistently going to get the same results. You're not going to improve. You're going to scale what you have. The challenges that you have now are going to scale with your size. You add more employees to make your life easier, and now it becomes more complex. You add more customers because you need more business, and now you have more headaches. If you really want to make that transition, you have to go through a transformation. I don't care how good you think your brand is. I don't care how clever your name is of your company. That's not what keeps people coming back. And yes, you can change your company name and your identity. I mean, don't just do it. If you carry, look at it this way: how much time did you put into your company's identity? How much time did you put in that cool company name that you created? How much time did you put in that smooth slogan? We care about your comfort. How much time did you put into the visual aspect of your logo? Or did you pay some guy $50 on Fiverr to go build some concept, and you went, yeah, that's it, and now I've got this cool identity. Well, it may be cool to you, but listen, it's not about you. I mean, it is about you, don't get me wrong, but it's not about you when it comes to attracting customers. It's about them. It's about them, and it's about creating something that appeals to a certain part of your customers, to a certain aspect, a certain value. Now, everybody values money. That's why that's the most common advertising, leveraged element. We can save $100, $50 off, $30 service call, whatever, right? But there are other values out there, and there are people who literally, just understand that that's why there is a market for all these different automobiles out there, right? Mercedes-Benz, BMW, those types of companies, Porsche, they're in every major market in your area, everywhere, as is Hyundai, right? And some of, Kia, some of these other brands. I'm kind of out of touch on the vehicles these days. I drive a Nissan over here in Panama where I'm at because I sold my car in Miami because I'm mostly out of the country. You guys didn't know that, did you? My wife is from South America, and so we've got a place here in Central America. It's a quick flight to Miami, so I'm in and out. I'm back and forth. So just like there is a market for people who want the very best in vehicles, or they want, I'm thinking about a recliner. I remember going with my grandparents, picking out, the store was called Lazy Boy, because that was the best brand back in the day. I was about 15 years old, true story. I was about 15 years old, and we went through, and my grandmother, she wanted to replace her old recliner, and she tried this one, she tried that one. What do you think of this one? What do you think of that one? And she finally chose a leather recliner, kind of lightweight, easy for her to operate. And I sat in it, she sat in it. And again, I'm 15 years old, maybe 14, I don't remember. So she buys the chair. We bring the chair home. Her old chair gets taken to the curb. It's gone. Now, her husband, my grandfather, he had his chair, and he'd had it for a while. And I remember her sitting in that chair at one point, and she said, Lem, his name was Lemuel, old school. She said, Lem, will you trade chairs with me for a little bit? This one here just isn't as comfortable as I thought it was in the store. And Grandpa says, yeah, of course. We moved the chairs around, and she says, yeah, this is better. And so that's how it happened. He ended up with that chair. And he kept it for many years. And I remember she passed away many years later, and ultimately he did too. But before he passed away, I moved him in with me, and I took care of him till he was about 90. He passed when he was 94. And but I kept that recliner for years. I was like 50 years old? It was a 35-year-old recliner. And it was awesome. They just don't make them like that anymore. People buy quality because of experiences in life with poor quality. And it comes into our business too. It applies to you as well. They subconsciously know this. Regardless of what's coming out of their mouth, people are going to be drawn to what they perceive as quality. How can you be perceived as quality? And I'm here to tell you, if you break out your nitrogen bottle and say, we nitrogen purge on every braze, they don't get that. That's not how they measure it. They measure your quality mostly in your professionalism, mostly in your visual identity with your vehicle wrap, yes, but a well thought out name that presses emotional buttons or pulls emotional triggers that align with their core values. Well, Pete, what are you talking about, core values? Their core values, things like, what's important to me is I want somebody that's going to listen to me and care and speak to me and sit down and explain this stuff to me. Look me in the eyes and not try to hustle me and sell me stuff. I want a professional. They need to be professional. They need to care. They need to be honest. Not out trying to hustle me into the day. Because I see the strategies. I know how they work. I'm a consumer. I recognize that you're not unique. How do you appeal to that? And that's what I'm talking about. This is a process, okay? It really, really has to start with you, with your values. And then we have to find out where your best customers, what their values are, and you find what you call your shared values. The things about you that customer identified with, so they keep calling you back. That thing that you naturally do and you can't help not doing because that's just part of who you are. That as soon as you hire somebody, a technician, send them out, they don't have that value. They don't share that value. Your customer's saying, would you come back? He's a nice guy or she's a nice technician, but I kind of like the way you handle things. Ask a customer one day why they chose you, why they do business with you. They can't tell you. They don't know. This is all subconscious stuff. But listen to me. You can reverse engineer this and create a true brand. Something that might not pop so strongly to the conscious mind, especially amongst your competition. They're going to think, well, whatever they think when they see your new identity or the way that you've presented your organization, and they're gonna think, oh, that's cheesy or whatever they think. It doesn't matter. But your customers, if you're dialed in on what we call your customer avatar, in other words, your ideal customer, the type of customer that you want more of. Well, Pete, if they have heating and air conditioning equipment, I want them as a customer. No, you do not. You know you don't. There's nothing any worse than dealing with a customer that has no business being your customer. Fire those customers. Let's start building a customer base, build on trust and on a relationship. And it's more than your wrap and your company name. This is your customer experience, the interaction, the way that you treat them in their own house, putting the shoe covers on. That's just the beginning. Having a nice clean uniform, changing your vocabulary, speaking to them in a way that you're actually listening, translating the technical jargon over into a way that they understand it, and they can default to their natural buying style, which is, you got it, quality. But you have to make that easy for them. You have to build systems to do that. And there's a lot of people out there that are doing it just with the software, right? Oh, we have these cool flat rate books. And it's true, there's a lot of good stuff out there, but if you want to be like everybody else, go do that. But if you really want to be in a category all of your own and have your own blue ocean, then you need to do some self-discovery. You need to go through this. The thing that's going to have the biggest impact in your business, that's going to take you the farthest, it's not sitting down, redoing your pricing, understanding your numbers. Don't get me wrong, this is all important. It's not that cool advertising campaign. It's not your new wrap. Now, all of these are important, and they have to fit together. But it's being authentic. It's being congruent. It's having all these elements dovetail into a consistent identity. And there's that word again, consistency. And being consistent in everything that you do, because you are measured not by the words that come out of your mouth, but by your behavior that is observed. You're being judged by what you do, not what you say. Everybody stretches the truth. Everybody puts their best foot forward. Everybody dresses a little nice for that nicely for that first date, don't they? Put on your best shoes, right? Everybody wants to be perceived in a certain way, but ultimately, people revert back to who they are. So this is why you have to build it around who you are, and this is why you have to hire people who share your values. This is why you have to do these kind of things. You got to know who you are, and then once you know who you are, and once you know the characteristics that are natural to the different roles that you play, you start to hire people who share those values and characteristics so that they don't fake your processes. They do them. They do them because they love it. It's a good fit. It's a natural fit. This is an extension of myself. I am home. I found a company I really like to work at. This is how you build a team, by the way. This is how you build culture. And I know I'm a little to the left and to the right and all over the place, but how do you explain all this stuff on some audio? It's a process. So when I created the HVAC X Factor, here comes your pitch. That's what I did this for. That's why I did it. Your problem isn't your work. Your problem is you. Your problem is you haven't done the work to identify something that you can create that's authentically you, and where you need work, go in and do your internal work so that you fix what's broke, because you're not perfect either. You need work, okay? The problems that you call this law of attraction if you want to. All the problems that you have, they're going to continue to come because you are creating them. You are attracting them. Well, no, Pete, you don't understand. All I need to do is fix this. Bull. I see it every day. You're just as human as I am. You making the same mistakes I did. We all do. Get on a path. Go through the process. Come into an identity. It will be the best investment of your time. It won't feel like it. Especially if all you want to do is get out there and turn those wrenches and make that money. But just remember, the vast majority of the people listening to this, they're going to burn themselves out. They'll never develop something that stands on its own. They won't have a legacy to go on, because at the moment they quit working, there is no business, because they are the business. And that is, well, that's the point. If you want $1 million operation that provides a lifestyle for you and your family, that allows you to be together, not a business that drives you apart from your family. You have to go out and do your work, yeah, but you must reverse engineer this in a way that you are not a slave to this, not anymore. Do the work. Ask yourself the questions. Does this make sense? I hope it does. Sorry about the coughing. I'm mostly through this. Hopefully next time I talk, I'll be able to put the regular video on. But as for today, Pete's still struggling. But you guys be safe out there. Think these things through. Continue to develop your inner person and allow that to bleed through to your professional personality, your unique identity, unique power identity is what we call it. P. Ramsey here, HVAC Greatness. Be safe out there, and I'll talk to you on the next one. Bye-bye.